This is the Subway pizza that got cold while I was doing this review. I don't know what's on it, I didn't pick the toppings. DSLR film. NOOB. Alright guys, so what I've got for you today is the Aputure VS-3 V-Screen monitor. This is a 7-inch panel that has a resolution of 1024 by 600. This will set you back about $350 to $400, and it sits in kind of a sweet spot between the 720p panels and the 800 by 480 panels. This is a little bit more expensive than some of the really small 5-inch monitors, and it's a lot less expensive than, say, the small HD 7.7, which is a 1280 by 720 panel. So let's take a closer look at what the VS3 has to offer. One of the nice things about the Aputure VS3 monitor is that it has built-in audio level meters. You can turn these on in the menu, and this allows you to see any audio levels that are coming over HDMI. If you're using a Blackmagic camera, that's probably the best way to go, since the Blackmagic Pocket camera does not give you audio level meters on screen. This way at least you have somewhat of an indication of where your audio levels are while you're recording footage. It's also handy if you're using, say, a Canon C100 or something like that. One thing to note about the Aputure VS3 monitor is that when the battery is installed, it's always using power even if the monitor is off. As you can see right here, the red light is on. This is draining battery power. So if you leave the battery attached to this monitor, even if you're not using it on your camera, overnight it'll drain the battery and you'll need to charge that in the morning. So keep that in mind. Make sure you remove your batteries when you're done using this panel. If you're using peaking on the Aputure VS3, make sure that you download the latest version of the firmware. In this case, I'm using v1.1c. This makes sure that when you have peaking enabled on your camera, you don't actually get the menu blocked out with the red indication. So let's take a look at how that works out. You can see basically here it's showing me everything that's in focus. Got my actor in focus right here and this whole background area in focus right there. And you can see that there is no red on this actress that's out of focus in the foreground. Build quality on the VS3 is pretty decent. It's got kind of a rubberized coating over the plastic that makes it feel a little bit better than some of the other panels out there. It's got a lot of input and output options, including composite, HDMI in, as well as an HDMI out, so you can send video to a field recorder or something like that. This uses standard Sony NP batteries, and these are pretty decent overall. They'll get you about 2 or 3 hours of life. You can use one of the monster Sony batteries if you want, but this is a much better form factor than some of those that stick out 3 or 4 inches from the monitor and make this thing really heavy. The quarter 20 on the bottom of this guy is made out of metal as opposed to plastic like some of the units, and the controls are fairly easy to use. The menu features on the Aputure VS3 are pretty much what you'd expect from any filmmaking monitor. You've got false color here, you've got your zebra pattern, you've got your histogram, there's the focus peaking I showed you earlier, your volume bars on and off, of course, and your color bars if you want to do any of that sort of thing. Otherwise, this is exactly what you'd expect from a monitor that you're trying to use to film with. Scrolling back over here to the menu, let's go down here. You've got your safe areas. Move this, you can flip your image if you want to, freeze an image, and so on. You've got some color adjustment settings for this particular panel. And then if we go to the shortcut, this is actually a handy feature. If you look right here, left is histogram, right is peaking, up is zebra, down is false color. I'll show you how that works. If you hit exit right here, now you have your 4 arrow keys. If you hit up on the arrow key, you'll get your zebra. Hit sideways, there's your histogram. Hit your right, you're getting your peaking, and go down and you're getting your false color. To turn that on, you just click that one more time, and now your false coloring is on. Also, that works with your peaking as well. So hit that again, and now I have focus peaking, and I can adjust that to low or highlights and bring that back to normal again. That gives you the basic options to access on the monitor without having to dig through the menus, making it pretty convenient to use overall. Besides the composite and HDMI inputs on the VS3, you also have a USB port right here. You'll want to use that right away when you get the panel to upgrade the firmware to 1.1c. I'll have a link to that in the crotch bar below so you can download that firmware update, and that will eliminate the problem with the menus not being readable when you have focus peaking turned on. Also note that there is a headphone jack down here on the bottom, and you can adjust the volume controls in the menu for that headphone output. There's also a speaker located on the back, If you really want to listen to the audio directly out of the monitor, you can. I don't really recommend it. These speakers that are built into these monitors are never really that great. Overall, the Aputure VS-3 panel isn't too bad of a choice. It's an upgrade from some of those cheaper Lilliput monitors that have a lot lower resolution, and it's a little bit less quality than you would get out of something like the Small HD 7.7 OLED panels. But at $350 to $400, this sits in a nice price range that makes it attractive if you're trying to move up, but you don't want to break the bank for your next HD panel. Overall, focus peaking and all the other features on here work as good as any of the other ones that are on the market, and the panel is pretty enjoyable to use. One of the complaints I have about this though is that even though it's a 7-inch panel, it's got this extra bit of stuff down here which makes it a little bit bigger. 7 inches on the borderline of a size of monitor that I would really prefer to use in the field, and I actually like them to be a little bit smaller with this extra bevel. This is getting a little bit larger than 7 inches. A lot of the other panels have the controls located on the tops or the sides so that they can eliminate this area down here. Aputure has decent controls, but because they take up space down here, they make the panel bigger. Otherwise, this is a pretty good buy. If you're in the market for an HD panel and you want to upgrade from one of those cheaper ones, this is definitely something to consider. As you can see, I'm in a motel right now doing this review, so you don't get all the fancy, subscribe stuff here. But thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.